now let's finish this question off. The next thing that we would have to determine would be C. Now C, remember, has to do with phase shift. So we have to make a decision whether we're using sine or cos. Now, because we're starting at the lowest point, it would make sense to me to use negative cos. Now, if I didn't use negative cos, I could use we could use sine, right? We could use that as well, but with a phase shift. So it makes more sense to me to have something that doesn't have a phase shift to begin with. It's a little bit easier to work with. So just going to make sure that we're going to have none, 0, but that means that this here, we're going to have to make it a -9 when we use our formula. So we've made the decision, or I've made the decision, that we're going to use cos. So we're going to use the general formula of y equals a cos b x minus c plus d. Okay, so y equals -9 cos. Our b value we just calculated is 30. We don't have a c value, and then we have a plus 10. Now, in many cases, because it's a word question, what does y stand for? What does x stand for? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let h represent the height, and the height is in meters, because that's what the question is. And we're going to let t represent time. And if we go back to the question, it is every 12 seconds. So it's going to be in seconds. So now what I have is, for my final answer, is I'm going to have h equals -9 cos 30t plus 10. And just like I told you at the very beginning when we started this, is now what we're going to use is we're going to use our equation to determine Brian's height at 31 minutes. That is, of course, if he stays on that long, because going around every 12 seconds, he's going pretty good, because, you know, it's got a diameter of 18 meters. So we're looking at quite the Ferris wheel here. So this is our t, but the problem is, in our formula, t is in seconds. So the first thing I need to do is I need to convert my time into seconds. So we need to multiply this 31 minutes into seconds, so multiply it by 60. So we end up with 0.618. Okay, so all we're doing now is we're taking our formula that we created and substitute in that value. So we have height equals -9 cos 30, and it's being multiplied by 1860 plus 10. Now remember when we worked with this before that it's almost better to actually do this actual mathematical calculation first before you pull out your calculator. So that's the cos of 55,800 plus 10. Okay, now if you have a good calculator, you don't have to do that, but as I said, I don't trust everyone's calculator anymore. Okay, up comes my calculator. I'm going to clear the memory there. So I have -9 cos 55800, close the bracket, plus 10. And we're at 1. So this means that Ryan is 1 meter above the ground, which means if we think of our graph, where is he? 1 meter above the ground? Well, he's at the lowest point. So maybe at this point he could jump off, not hurt himself. So therefore, Ryan would be 1 meter above the ground. All right, so you just have some questions, word questions to do. Some, as I said, where they give you the information and you have to make an equation or draw a graph and then make the equation and then use it, or sometimes they give you the equation. So have lots of fun.